Praise thy holy name, Father. Praise thy holy name. I'm coming here tonight to make another short video. And I'm going to have to say this. You know, I try to always speak the truth in the simple simplicity that it is. Just tell the truth. And this thing about Elizabeth, you know, and the chip, I kind of feel sorry for her because everybody is on her back that she did try to put it out to warn people. Let me see, what does she say here to Ron? She says, Brother Ron, I kick myself for trying to warn people with your favorite video, Foodstamps, and buy a chip. And there's one out there. I went and seen it. I have enough battles. Why do I take a chance for Satan to attack me again? Well, to tell you the truth, Elizabeth, when you haven't told the truth very much and you've been caught, why would they believe you on this? Maybe others would. I haven't seen. Okay, let's go. Because of what I wrote here, and it gives the person's name, rebuking, and you know who you are, but this, and she says this is insanity. I want to clarify, I disagree with people who claim all in America who have microchips in them now before the Great Tribulations will be automatically receive the mark of the beast in the Great Tribulations. And she's right on that. That's not true. There's so many here in America that's already got the chip. Some big shots in Walmart has it. I've seen it. And back in 1998 or 99, I was in Walmart store and I seen one of the upper echelon go through, and whenever he checked out, he just waved his back of his hand across the scanner thing. Anyway, it paid. That's how he paid for his bill, which I was amazed. I went, wow, it's really here. But it's already here. There's people that have gotten it. They will have a choice to have more information added at the time to be able to buy or sell. Worship the beast. You know what? I pretty well agree with that because I've thought that for a long time. In fact, I've mentioned it to Elizabeth. That's what I really believed. They will have a choice. See, okay. No one whose name is in the Lamb's Book of Life will allow any information during the time of the Great Tribulations to be added to the microchip. They will lay their life down and refuse to worship this false god whom we call the Antichrist. So, I defend what people say when I know they're right. And when it comes to the food stamp deal, I don't take just people's words here on YouTube. I actually go and I look up at the information about food stamps and what they're planning and what Congress is about. I mean, anybody can search the web and they can find this information for sure. I found it. You can find it. Congress has already voted into law that in time, no certain date, they're not doing it now, it's not going on now, there is no date set for it to begin, but there is going to be a time, because it's law, that when you go in to get your food stamps or your card renewed, because they'll tell you you'll have to come in and when you apply for your food stamps, you will have to come in and get a new card. Please go and look this up in the government website, please. So that is when you will have to choose. And at first it's supposed to begin in the card, that there will be a chip added to the card, that your picture, which is not that way here in Arkansas. They don't take no picture or anything of you here. They just give you a card, you go. But everyone will have to have a picture on their card and a fingerprint and all your bio information in this. How much you get paid, where you get paid from, and all of this stuff. That way they feel like it will keep fraud that is going on in the food stamp, cut it out. Well, I can perceive in the future there's ways of people even getting around and duplicating that. Like when people come across the border, they'll get false IDs, false social security numbers, false green cards, or whatever it takes for them to live here in the United States. Well, cards can be duplicated. And so I can see, even in the future, that if you get food stamps, you'll finally have to have the chip in you so that you can. I don't know what will happen if you ever get off the food stamps in the future, and will they remove the chip, or they just, I don't know. They don't go into a whole lot of details on the government site, but it's not got a set date to activate this decision, this law that they have made. There are many laws that are on the book that people don't know about, because I stumbled into one site, accidentally got kind of in trouble. They told me to get off the site or there's going to dump a virus in my mainframe and destroy my computer. Well, needless to say, I got off of there. But there's a law, and it was back in 97, I believe, that I stumbled across it, where there was laws passed that in time, if you believe in Jesus Christ, Yeshua, they can arrest you and incarcerate you because you are telling people that another person is coming down and taking over the government and over the world, but over, so then you would be classified as a terrorist and an enemy of the state, because you are promoting another leader, another thing over this government, which will and can cause people to be put in camps. Would I take a chip? No. Because I know what will come up in the future. If you got a chip, there will become a time they will get everybody chipped as much as they can. And there will become a time that they will call them in and say, well, you need a mass check on the condition of your chip or something. And they'll make up some kind of story, I fully believe. But when you get there, they will say, okay, this is the new law and new order, that you either get this information added to your chip and take this mark or whatever it is, or you will die. I mean, it won't be if, ands, buts about it. It'll just be one or the other. You either live, walk out of that place, or you die. And if it's under Sharia law, your head will be cut off. That's the way they do it. So I could see it coming more as a Sharia law. But the reason why I would not want to take a chip and leave and go to the wilderness is because it's a tracking device. Now we have them. They're coming here to Arkansas soon in our driver's license. They've already told us that's what they're going to do. They will track you any way they can. So they can right now, if something happened and you had to disappear, you had to leave, really, logically, and where they get the system where they can pinpoint you with their space stations or whatever they have up there that control this stuff, they could pinpoint you exactly where you're at and what hole in the ground you would be living in. So you would need to get rid of your cell phones because they have tracking devices. You would need to leave your car and walk out, bicycle out, and maybe an older motorcycle or a very old car that's not got all this GPS stuff on it. You would have to leave it. Plus, you would have to leave your debit cards and your credit cards behind because there are ways of tracking them that people don't really know a lot about, but there is. So, in other words, you would need to get rid of everything that can go and cause a signal, and that means the chip inside your body. Now, if you got a chip, you need to make up your mind they're going to get you right away. They can pinpoint you right down to T where you're at and what you're doing. And you just may walk in there and go, okay, here am I. I'm not running, but I'm not going to take the mark. So no. Do as you will to me, but no, I'm not. They may torture you. I mean, if you want to know exactly some of the things that could happen, and I don't say this to scare you, read the Book of Martyrs and see what the Catholic Church did to the Protestants when they were coming out and having their own Bibles to read. They put them on the rack. They burned them at stakes. They beheaded them. They hung them. You know, they in every possible way, they would torture them and do all sorts of bad things to them. So, yes, the time is now. Terrible things are coming. Yes, the chip has something to do with it. And yes, you will have to take the mark. Say, yes, I will. If you're mentally incapacitated, like like someone asked me, how about if they're retarded? If you don't understand, truly don't understand what's going on, then you cannot logically and spiritually make a choice like that. Now, during the time of Hitler, let me explain to you, there were more than just Jews that were put in concentration camps and killed. At that time, you can say, okay, Jews, now Christians, ones that believe in Jesus Christ, Yeshua. Every one of them will be gathered up and given a choice to believe or not believe. All the ones that have mental problems like retardation will go into the camp with them, just like Hitler had them put into the camp. If there was defects in the body, which Hitler had one and should have been put in concentration camp himself, but others that had the same deformity, because he only had one genital, but they would be put in concentration camps. If they were homosexual, they would be put in concentration camps and killed. They were of no value. Morally, in his eyes, they were bankrupt. They could not, they wouldn't produce children because it takes a man and woman to produce children. So therefore, he had them put in concentration camps and killed them. To be able to come out of that, to survive that area, you pretty well had to meet a criteria of being blonde-headed, fair-complected, and blue-eyed, and very well built, very well formed. Well, in a way, it's going to be like that during the time of the Great Tribulations. So, in a way, Elizabeth is right, so people please quit jumping on her about that. There's enough to go in and say, Elizabeth, grow up and straighten up without going on about something that she really is telling the truth about. She really is. Many will probably not agree with me, but I don't care. I just tell you the way it is and the way I see it. You don't have to agree with me, but I do request for you to go check things out yourself. Before you make a judgment on a person, what they're saying, go check it out. Really, go check it out. And this is true about the food stamps. I'm sorry. If anybody misunderstands and think it's in force right now, it's not. It's just on the books. It's a law. But they're not doing it right now. I have several friends that are on food stamps. Their pictures are not on it. Their fingerprints are not on it. It's just like a plain old credit card, because my debit card has my picture on it. So it's like a plain, no it don't either, excuse me, that was my other card. But anyway, it's just a plain old card. That's all it is. And you swipe it and be able to pay for your groceries. But the law is there. When will it come effect? Well, I don't think it will come effect at least until after the elections. One thing. And it may be a little bit more on down the road, because there are so many laws that's had to be passed and stuff to set up the area legally, so when the Antichrist does come, he just walks in and takes over. The laws are already in the book, and he'll go say, oh, I see that got this law. That's a good law, so let's enforce it. So there are laws that are laying on the books that have not had a startup date and have not been enforced yet. There are old laws that used to be enforced and no longer are enforced. Like here in Arkansas, there's a law that says that you cannot live, a man and woman cannot live together and have children unless they are married. If they don't get married, they can be arrested. That's all law in the book. Do they do it anymore? No. We'd have a whole lot of people in jail, heading to prison over living with each other nowadays. So, in defense of Elizabeth, and I love you, girl, and I'm sorry you're getting so much flack on this, but you know what? If everything you said was the truth, then when something like this does come up, they would believe you. You know, it's like the shepherd boy that screamed wolf all the time, and then when the wolf did come, the townspeople didn't come. Well, that's the way it kind of is. No, I'm sorry, sis, but that's the way it is. So, it's out there. Whether they want to believe me, that's fine. But I do urge you people to go really look to love. And please have a blessed Sabbath day. We're in the Sabbath now. And we need to learn to show love for each other, even if we don't understand where the other person's coming from and why they're coming from there. You know what? I love everybody on here on YouTube. I really do. It doesn't matter if they're the worst of sinners or the most perfect person that you could be, which there's no one perfect, only him that was here on earth, that come to save us and die for us is perfect, but as near perfect as you can be. I love you. I don't look at you for what you do or who you are. I look at you as a human being that God loves so much that he sent his son to die on the cross for us all. And he died for us all in that state of sin that he found us in that day that he pricked your heart and said, "Come unto me. I will give you rest." And you accepted him. We need to learn to forgive and even love our enemies. And you know what? Sometimes our enemies is telling the truth when we think they're full of it. But we need to learn to really discern in the spirit the truth from the fiction. And there are some things that's very easily checked out. Just get on Google and Google it out and you can find it. I usually figure if I can find it, anybody can find anything. I don't consider myself to be the smartest person in the world, especially when it comes to computers. But I'm praying a blessed Sabbath over everyone. And may the Lord of the Sabbath enter each and every one of your homes. May the peace of Shalom come over and cover you. May his blessings be upon your home. May his blessings be upon your children. May his blessings be upon your grandchildren and great-grandchildren to come. I ask a true Sabbath blessing to go forth on this video and just pour out on everybody in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach.